Okay, this is going to be our video, and it's just about 7 minutes. It just kind of gives you an idea of
I've actually wanted to do this for a long time.
synopsis.
I mean, I've seen the billboards, I had seen different videos, and then one day it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm one of these casas that show up, and if there's a kid there, it's like, oh, who are you? Do you have a casa? Give me that kid. You know, I can take him. I'm going there anyway.
It's amazing that I can help someone who needs my help and help him in ways that neither one of us thought possible. I'm a mother of 2 sons, grandmother of 8. It's probably one of the main reasons I became a Kaya.
A lot of times they don't have anyone that they can really talk to that's on their side, and they feel that. You might be the only person that that child can talk to.
It's been so easy for the community to just, you make a bad decision just to throw you away, put you off to the side. But I feel we always have to give those people a second chance. No matter where they are, what they did, they have to get that second chance.
A typical visit would be me picking them up, and I usually would take them out to dinner.
Oh, I've taken him out to dinner, out to ice cream. We've played Play-Doh, played games.
We go for an ice cream, we just chat, talk about new things, we talk about past, we talk about what bothers him, we talk about his goals, what he wants to do in the future.
Bridging the gap, whatever that child, that person may be missing, whether it be a missing parent, problems in school, how just to cope with everyday life and still stay on track with education and just being a good person.
This child is really thinking about the future now. He's not thinking about what happened to him. He wants to change, and I get to be there and help him along with that.
It's a little strange at first. You don't know these people.
I mean, you know, you show up, I was nervous, I didn't know anybody, and you show up and this kid immediately is just like, hey, who are you and why are you here?
You get to know them after a little bit of time, and then slowly the bond starts growing.
Just showing up and seeing the kids smile, they hug you, they're happy to see you, and you know that you're the only consistent thing. Their DCS caseworkers change, their therapist changes, they might have visits with mom and dad, and then those get taken away, and then they can't see their mom and dad, so a lot of things change during the course of the case.
So we have to meet them where they are at that time and try to build on it.
Any child, I don't care what age they are, needs to believe that they have a positive future ahead of them and that you're going to make mistakes along the way. And you know what? Mistakes you learn from.
Not only can I be there for them, but I can be there for them in court as well and speak up for them.
A lot of times the kids aren't there, but you're there for that kid. So even though the lawyers might have different opinions, you go out there and you speak for that child and what you think is right.
I was like 15, 16. I don't remember. I just remember it being like a really stressful time. I was like in and out of JDC, everything. I would get really mad and kind of like self-destructive. School put a lot of stress on me. I would just go like on a rampage. Looking back at it, it caused a lot more problems. At first, I was like, ugh, it's just another program. But they actually like care and they help. There were days that I was at my point where I was like, I give up, I'm done, I can't do this, and they helped me maintain my sobriety. My whole world had been turned upside down. I didn't have my children that I was used to every day, and started doing visits here at the Army House. Nobody sets out thinking that they're going to be addicted to a substance. To be a good mom and to make mistakes and live with that is hard enough as it is. And to have people that are sitting there rooting for you and actually fighting for you is something that, I don't know, I owe them a lifetime of gratitude for.
My sister was not able to have children. And then by the grace of God, Aurora was born. She abused drugs in front of Aurora. They asked me if I would be willing to adopt Aurora, and I didn't even hesitate. I just said yes. When Norma would come over, she would bring all kinds of stuff for her and Aurora to do, and Aurora loved it. She was very passionate about Aurora, and that made a real big difference. She kind of became family. Norma was one of the greatest voices that we had in court. And if anyone is going to have a CASA, I just pray that they're like Norma. And I know that CASA needs more volunteers.
And they help like do things that interest like for you. I told her that I like to draw and everything, and she asked me if I needed like any paper. She got me a sketch pad and the chalk. If I'm like mad or sad or upset, like it just helps me like focus and like get my mind off of whatever's bothering me at the moment. I feel like I've grown so much, and the program like has helped me blossom a lot.
About a month or two into it, I really started building a relationship. Cheryl or Stephanie had just listened and just been there for me. Maybe I would have stayed sober, but to have a team that just rooted for you and fought for you and cared, it makes the difference. It made a big difference. I'm at 8 months of being clean now, and it's just a lot easier, so much easier.
It does a lot for your heart and soul. Makes you feel like you're giving back. If you have some time that you can give to change their life in one little way that could keep them moving forward in the right direction, go for it.
It's the best thing I've ever done.
For us to say we're too busy in our life or we can't do this, it's not the answer. We should be doing something more.
As long as you care and you have a heart, you're going to make a difference in that child's life.
Well, that is our video, and those are not actors. Those are our volunteers and the people who have used our services. Family Advocates has been around we celebrated our 30th anniversary last year. We were going to have this great in-person gala, but we were able to do a virtual event to celebrate all the things that our volunteers have done, our staff have done, and the changes that they've made in the lives of the people that we serve that I think you can really see through this video. The first program that we started was the Court-Appointed Special Advocate Program. And we did not create it. It wasn't our idea. It was created back in 1977, really just by a judge who was frustrated with foster kids coming into his courtroom, trying to make decisions about their lives and not really having enough information. And they thought that it might be a good idea to just train volunteers, and so that they had one case at a time and could really give judges a real insight into what's in the best interest of the child. So in Indiana, when we started the program, Indiana made the CASA program in the Indiana statute, and our volunteers are actually parties to the case so that we can call our own witnesses, we can file legal documents. We are even now more of a legal voice on behalf of those children. So we can give a judge evidence that says, Your Honor, this child shouldn't go home because of the condition. And as long as we have the right information, we really feel like we're speaking up for that child. Here's just some statistics of the number of kids that we serve. As you can see, we have around, on average, 250 kids in the system in LaPorte County every year. That's been pretty consistent. And I've been here for the 30 years, so I can honestly tell you that has been pretty consistent. It's changed at different times. But we've never been able to kind of get in and make a difference in prevention to a place where those numbers fall. The numbers rose in 2018, probably from 2016 and 2019, extremely more just because of the issue of the opioid issue. And you did hear some of those stories in the video, that truly is one of the things that is hurting families in our community. I've gathered this information so that you could have an idea of what happened last year with the lockdown as we were all home. If you look at the bottom corner graph is 2019. Those are the numbers of reports that were made in LaPorte County in 2019 per month. If you look up at the top in 2020, you see that huge dip. So that means that around the time that we were all home because of the lockdown, no one knew what was happening to kids, right? So those kids had nobody, there's no reports, no intervention. There's no way to know that there was extreme neglect or there was a parent in the home that was using drugs. We really worried about those kids. And then as soon as they got back and things opened up and school started, you see that huge jump where more and more reports were made. In 1999, we started Harmony House, which is our supervised visitation program and safe exchange program. And really that came about with the idea that when kids are removed from their home, one of the things that is important and that the courts require is that they have some access to their parent. So there were supervised visitations being done in the office with the caseworker, where there was no real reason or way to see how a parent could parent if you're in an office. Some of the visits were done maybe in a fast food restaurant. So those are not places where you can actually see parenting skills or teach parenting skills. So in 1999, we created Harmony House, which is an old house that we remodeled where people can actually have visitations and where there's a kitchen, there's a living room, there's several different playrooms. You saw in the video, the room with all the painted hands in it, that's our art room. And we kind of let them have a free for all in there. There's a fenced in backyard. So besides them having some normal activities with their kids, we also can teach them things. We can, teach some parenting. We can, teach them what's a nutritious meal. So that's been very helpful in just helping parents learn some better skills. And here's just some statistics of last year with doing visits. So you can see that same dip. So just like with the CASA program, our non-custodial parents could no longer see their kids in person because we were also shut down. So we were able to try to set up some Zoom visits. I think, we've all learned to use virtual ways of seeing each other over the last year, but it did help them keep somewhat connected as we waited to open up. We've done about 55,000 hours of visits. Safe exchanges are when everything is court ordered. So a court would decide, usually in a domestic violence situation where parents shouldn't be exchanging their child at the same time. It kind of alleviates police involvement. So there's no arguments. It's just a better situation for the child. So the custodial parent, non-custodial parent comes first, goes back into a room, and then the custodial parent would bring the child and then leave, so that we would give them at least 15 minutes so that they're gone, no one can be followed, and then that child would be able to go for that visit for the parent. It's always hard for people to understand that that's a necessary program, but it has really changed how kids' behavior is when they come for visits. Usually the first time they would come for a visit, they would be very anxious and stressed because several times when they would go to a visit with their parent, the police would end up coming or there would be arguments. And so this is a way to keep them out of any kind of violence situation. And this is just some pictures of our backyard. We had a healthcare foundation grant that helped us reduce some remodeling both in the backyard and in our kitchen. House was built in 1920. I think the kitchen was remodeled probably in the 60s, so it needed a little upgrading to make it a little bit safer and a better place. We also in 2020 started doing parent training. We have a grant, so we're able to do some parent training free of charge, not just for our visiting parents, but for any parents in the community. And we started doing those virtual, but we are now doing some specific classes or some one-on-one training. The Court Youth Advocate Program, it began in 2014. And you heard from the older girl that was doing the art project. She's in that program. We work with kids that we began the program working primarily just with kids who are on probation, kind of helping them get through their probation, connecting them to more positive things that they could do in the community. And we knew that most of those kids that were on probation, especially your runaways, kids involved in batteries, a lot of those kids just don't have a whole lot of supervision at home and probably fell through the cracks when they were younger without getting intervention as abuse and neglect children. So they really need someone to be their mentor and their advocate. So we've now moved into doing that program, and there's a day reporting program that's done for those kids who are suspended or expelled. And those youth get appointed a volunteer. And we are just now working on a program with Michigan City Schools so we can do some community advocacy work with kids who are at risk and kind of struggling, and where the counselors know that they're just not getting the support at home. There may be some substance abuse, or there may be all kinds of problems at home that this child's just not getting the support they need, but needs to have a chance to reach to their full potential. There's just some statistics and a little bit about the programs that we do. We don't have this is from 2020, so we don't have the Michigan City School program on here yet. Our program, the KIA program does a bowl-a-thon every year, but obviously we wanted to do something that we could also involve the youth, and we are doing a virtual trivia night. The theme of it is travel, so if anybody's interested in getting a team, I think Rudy has a team. You can go on our webpage and sign up. It should be pretty fun. You can do it. I'm doing it with my children who none of them live in this state. So it's a good time for us to have some fun. So now if I could get out of here, do you have any questions? Can you hear me?
If you have a question, don't forget to unmute your microphone so you can ask Karen.
I'm trying to get the show grid view.
Hi, Karen. This is Matt Kubik. Again, could you repeat how it is that young people get referred to your program? Is it only through the courts, or are we as public or working through our churches or anything like that able to refer people?
All the programs are court referred except for the programs that we work with the school. So usually, say if you know a child in your church, you wouldn't necessarily be able to refer them to the program. But if they were involved with, if the parents knew that they were having some trouble at school or something, the parent may be able to talk to somebody who they're already working with and make a referral. Is there a way to unshare, by the way? I'm trying to unshare my.
Yeah, just hit stop sharing on your, where your screen
Is
is.
there-
I can do it for you if you want.
That, oh, I see it. It came
Yep.
down.
There
All
you
right,
go.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right. You didn't need to see my computer.
One of the things that I had a question on is, it seems like it is a hefty responsibility of a volunteer to take on the life of a child. Okay. And to be, I would be scared to do it. I would be, you know, can I really, will I make a positive influence or a negative influence? You know, it's very difficult.
Well, I think, you know, I'm not going to say that it's not an important role. And it isn't just for everyone, but our case is, you know, it's not like you're not with the child, you know, the course of their childhood. For the CASA program, we're done when the court's done. With the court youth advocate program, we can be done when the child either graduates or successfully completes probation, but we do have an option for those kids. If both the mentor, the youth, and the youth's family agree, they can continue that mentoring relationship. So those are kind of dependent on them.
Jim, I'm on the board now, I'm the treasurer of the board, but before I got on the board, I was a CASA volunteer for a couple of years. That's how I got introduced to the program. And there's a really good training that they do before you even are assigned your first case, so that you know what to expect, what your responsibilities are. And so you're pretty well trained, and there's always someone to talk to in case you have any questions as you're going along. But it surprised me. I mean, I got really close to the kids that I was the CASA for. In fact, the case was settled probably 3 years ago. They were adopted. And it's a good situation for them, but I'm still in touch with them. Usually once or twice a year, I'll take them out to Dairy Queen or something like that. But I mean, it's a good program. It's not for everybody, but it's a good program. And the court, when you go into court and or ask questions, I mean, the judge really works with you, and it's a very comfortable situation. So it's easy to get into as far as the training.
I think if most volunteers will tell you, and Rudy will probably agree, I think you learn so much about not just your kids and the families, but just about the community, what's lacking in our community, you know, what supports these, you know, families and these children need that maybe we're not providing. And I think it really opens everyone's eyes. And I know that I have kids. I had a young woman, she's 35 now, so she was like 15, and she contacted me, you know, so they don't forget.
Now, there's just one more comment too, that is, it was interesting because in my case, the mother of the two kids was into drugs and alcohol and things like that, and the father was out of the picture. He was in prison, and through all that, as frustrated as I was working with the mother, I was just as frustrated working with the county, because they have so many cases and it's hard for them to follow through the way that they should through. So it's the CASA is really needed, because you're the one person whose total job it is to look out for the kids. And that's really important.
I'll jump on a little bit with what Matt said when he asked whether or not you can refer to children to you versus other than the court. And you talked about the school program. Does the school program incorporate parochial or private schools as well, such as Queen of All Saints in Michigan City?
Not yet. So we got a Lilly Foundation grant, and so we're piloting this program at Michigan City Middle School right now. So that's a possibility. We also, to be able to really represent all the kids that are in need, it really is a lot of recruitment and getting volunteers and training them and supervising them, because we supervise them pretty closely. We don't just send people out and say, hey, go for it. I guess that's when talk to people, I always ask, maybe you're listening to this and you're going like, I don't know if I could do this, but I know my friend so-and-so or my brother or, or my son or whoever would be great at it. Maybe they just don't know that there's this opportunity. So the best thing that you guys can do for us is to just share information, maybe like our Facebook page, share it with your people so that we can get those numbers. We want to expand because we see all those issues that are lacking in the community. So right now we're really looking at expanding even and having more space in Michigan City so we can provide a place for our youth to go and learn new things, maybe a computer lab, things where they can work together with their volunteers. So there's so much need in our community. And it does take takes the whole community to make it better. We have to support each other.
Okay. Any other questions for Karen? Well, Karen, I really, really appreciate you sharing this with us. We will try to see if we can publish some information somewhere to see if we can get you any more volunteers. If you would send me an email to jwellborn@wellborn.com with any kind of links to any kind of pages you'd like to have us, send people to.
Okay.
That would be good. And see if we can do something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
I will do that. Thank you for asking me to speak.
Okay. Thank you for speaking for us. We really appreciate it.
All right.
Mr. Bosbach, would you have anything for your SARGE program?
I did not with it, Jim, with it other than the questions with it. So I apologize. I didn't think of that.
It's okay. How did the questions go?
Pretty good with it. Rudy got a couple of them right, and some of them were just too tough with it, like president of the Rotary Club, right, or Rotary International now, and the upcoming president. And Rudy got the German guy correct, but India escaped him. And Matt, you would like one of the questions was that the name the schools of business at IU, Purdue, and Notre Dame with it. And the answer is IU, Kelly, Purdue, Cranert, and with Matt shaking his head, Mendoza for the.
Can't remember.
You didn't know that?
I can't remember it. But then again, I wasn't in the School of Business.
That's true. You graduated from the two architectural schools in Indiana, which are Notre Dame, and what's the other one?
Well, the other one is Ball State, but actually IU has started a new architecture program.
Oh, really? Okay, I knew Ball State and Notre Dame. Yeah. Okay, great. We're all getting a little something now. Maybe this is my SARGE program going here now. Good. I'll turn it back to you, Jim.
Well, you can ask for the good of the order. You can kind of go around each person and see if they have anything for the good of the order.
Why don't we start with Nicole? Any great announcements going on at this point?
Nothing too exciting right now. Just still plugging
Hard
along.
to have anything exciting during the pandemic, isn't it?
I know, right? Yeah. Well,
Debbie, you got a big smile. You must have something important.
Whoops.
Whoops, I think we lost Debbie. Oh, there she is.
I was smiling at you, John, that's all.
Okay, good. Nice looking dog there, man.
I'm gonna say what I always say. Guess what I'm gonna hawk? I'm gonna hawk this T-shirt again. We want to help Jessica sell her T-shirts. So anybody who doesn't have one, please talk to Jessica and get one of the T-shirts. That would be for the good of the order.
Hey, Cindy, how about you?
You will be seeing some new signage out in front of our Michigan City campus. We're working on dressing the place up. In fact, they knocked out some of the old stuff so you can actually see more of the front doors. So we're pretty excited about that. So we're we're doing some internal stuff as well, and we'll be adding an additional, I believe it's a CNC program. So things are moving forward with Ivy Tech in LaPorte County.
That's good.
Mostly virtual right now, Debbie?
Yeah, classes are still virtual. Yeah,
No,
they're
no,
still
I said
virtual.
Debbie, I meant Cindy, yeah.
Yeah, they're still virtual, although our simulation, our healthcare people have to get in the buildings because you have to work with mannequins and stuff like that. And then our technology people are in the labs. And then, Jim, I did take a picture of Matt and I, our newest addition to our Ivy Tech membership, and I just emailed that to you today.
Yeah, I've received it. You know, it'll be in the next newsletter and put on the website pretty soon.
Okay. Good deal.
Hey, Matt, what's going on? Matt?
Oh, hello. Well, I got my giant dog here. Our son in California drove all the way across the country to bring us this Cane Corso Mastiff dog. And he's just a lover. And other than that, things are good. We're working on Easter for Trinity Episcopal Church, and we think we've figured out how we're going to have a Saturday night Easter Vigil full service. We have a priest who's going to come and do that for us. Kind of just starting to figure out how, just like all the rest of us, how are we going to like gradually come out of the pandemic in a safe way. And I'm sure hoping that we can have Rotary meetings together soon as the bulk of us get our vaccination and become fully immunized. I'm sure looking forward to that.
Great. Jim, I've asked everybody but you.
What about Jennifer?
Where? Oh.
Hey.
I didn't see a picture. All right. Only a name. How you doing?
Yeah, I was inhaling my lunch. So lots to update over here from HealthLink. I'll piggyback off Matt with the vaccine talk. I'm kind of sad that Bull Mastiff left the camera though, because he was sure a cutie. So HealthLink has been doing a lot of vaccines out in the community. Grab my book. So as you know, we're doing them here in the clinic. For the 45 and up, and we're also using our federal we've been allocated vaccines from the federal government that we're taking out in the community. Just this week, we've done a couple hundred out in the community. We went to Sacred Heart Church where Keys to Hope and Sandcastle and others came and joined us, and we vaccinated there. We were back at the Housing Authority on Wednesday. We were also there last week. We went to the bridge today. And we are doing Michigan City High School tomorrow for all of our teachers. They finally are going to get their vaccines that they fully deserve. We've got about 151 signed up for, there now. I don't know. I think it looks like Betsy might have left the meeting, but we've got 151 set up there for this Friday. We're going back out there next Friday. We did Marquette High School Tuesday, and then next week we're doing Notre Dame, the Queen of All Saints, and possibly St. Stan. So we have been, so when I say I haven't been to Rotary because I'm busy, Jim, please forgive me, I've been busy, but it's so worth it because the more we get vaccinated, we will be in person meeting again. And I think that's really soon. If not, you know, I'm waiting for that email from Jim to come through and say we're going back to Patrick. So it's exciting stuff. It's busy. Staff here is keeping their spirits up. They're very tired. I'm sure Debbie's in the hospital. The healthcare workers are really tired, but they're doing this for the greater good and what's to come. So light at the end of the tunnel for Patrick.
Good.
Hey, I do want to say that I am now fully immune. I've been past my second shot, past my 2 weeks after my second shot, all because I got them through HealthLink. Went over there and received those shots early. So, and it was hard to get on. So you guys really helped me out at that point in time.
Yeah. Yeah. We got plenty of openings. So.
Are you taking people? Let me ask a quick question before Katie jumps in. Are you taking people like my daughter who might want to come in and get a shot?
We'll take
She just-
anybody. You don't have to be a patient.
Oh, okay. Because when it first started out, you had to be a HealthLink patient. So
Oh,
that's
no,
changed now?
we never had a HealthLink patient.
Oh, okay.
We've been to the community since day one. 45 and up, we gotta make sure we're sticking to the state guidelines. 45 and up. It's a little different with the federal allocations out in the community. The feds gave us a little extra wiggle room. They allow us to do the homeless and any kind of congregate living and eating situations. So that's why we've been able to go out to all the housing authority and all the low income or Section 8 apartments. We've been out to Canterbury. We did Lakeland. We are in the process of doing we're going to combine a few through the housing authority and do those out at the Possible A. Smith building. We met with the principal out there and they donated their space for us to combine some other apartment complexes. So we're working with some co-ops for migrant and seasonal workers. So those fall under the federal category for us.
Okay.
We've got both Moderna and Johnson & Johnson here. It's whatever my inventory lets me give is what we give that day. But yeah, we're rocking and rolling over here.
All right.
Now, Katie, your turn.
Not a whole lot to update. Yeah, definitely a lot of conversations in the community around the vaccines and messaging around how to make sure people don't feel so hesitant to get that when it becomes their turn. So, you know, we're doing our part to share that information out to our community and to our businesses. We are planning a job fair in April for hospitality, restaurant, retail, tourism, professional services sectors. That'll be April 13th. So information about that just went out today. And, you know, planning some stuff back face-to-face. We're excited. We're going to do some networking back face-to-face in April. Still, you know, keeping social distance and mask wearing, all that stuff that's required, but it's nice to be getting back together.
Good, thank you. That seems to do it, Jim.
Okay. Just before we wrap up, I want to remind everybody we've got some great speakers coming up. Clarence Hulse, our own Rotarian, will be here next week to talk about his annual update for the Economic Development Corporation. Then we're going to go into April, which is what I've been calling Professional Development Month. And we start out with 3 professors from Purdue Northwest talking to us about learning how to lead better meetings, LinkedIn do's and don'ts and best practices. And the professor of finance and economic development is going to come up with a topic that I don't have yet, but hopefully he'll be coming in. We're going to be following that up with our own Debbie Tabor talking about strength training and talking to us a little bit about the Gallup trained strengths coach. She's a Gallup trained strengths coach, so she'll be helping us with those ideas. And lastly, we'll have Susie Vance and Valerie Merck talking to us about Toastmasters and Rotary. So there's some interesting professional development courses coming up. You know, let everybody know. I think we need to get more of our members involved in these. And maybe even in April, we might even be able to, I'm not sure, but maybe even move 1 or 2 of those meetings to face-to-face to see if we can go. It all depends on how things are going and how the state eases up on stuff. So we'll see.
For those, for those professional development ones, I really like those topics, especially how to lead a better meeting. I think many can benefit from that. Are those up on Facebook yet, or how soon will they be? Because the sooner I can share that link, I really think some of our, you know, member businesses would have maybe some interest in those topics. And it, you know, doesn't hurt to have those guests come in and learn more about Rotary. So, however,
yeah, I've got them on our website, but I don't know. Lance dropped off, so I'm not sure whether he's taken them and put them on our Facebook page yet.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember seeing those on there yet. So I will pull information then from the website and try to start sharing.
Yeah, if you click on the link that says speakers,
yeah,
you can share then. You cut and paste that little link, and it'll show everybody those speakers coming up for those time frames.
Perfect. Thank you.
Before you guys put it out there, I do want to just, I'll shoot it to Jim because I think it fell off when he helped with my bio. But I do want to say so that people know they either can or don't have to bring their top 5. So maybe we can tell them that they can purchase the book themselves, StrengthsFinders 2.0, and come with that, or they don't have to. But it's a great tip for somebody who wants to already bring their top 5, because they'll get that much more out of it. Unless Matt doesn't agree.
I highly recommend it. Debbie,
Yeah.
Debbie has led our church leadership team through this, and I highly recommend that you get the book and take the Gallup quiz and get your top 5 skills. Jim, I got a benediction for us when you're ready.
All right. Anybody else got any comments? Looks like you're up, Matt.
Okay, so this is actually a benediction of Thanksgiving, as we've reached the 1-year mark here since the onset of the COVID. And so I would say, blessed art thou, O Lord, our God, King of the universe, who has kept us in life and sustained us and enabled us to reach this season. Amen.
Amen. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed the meeting, and I'll see you guys in a week.
Thank you, Jim.
All right.